What if I told you that the future officially began in December 2020, not just politically, not just digitally, but astrologically? Because on that day, December 21st, 2020, the sky itself shifted, and with it, the fate of civilization. The world experienced a rare, happening only every 20 years, powerful astrological event, the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn at 0 degrees Aquarius. This just wasn't the start of a new 20-year cycle, though. Between these two planetary giants, it marked the whole beginning of a new era in mundane astrology, that is, astrology of the political affairs of man. We officially transitioned from Earth Trigon to the Air Trigon. Now, you may be asking, what does that mean? And that is a good question if you're not versed in the ways of astrology. Let me explain. Every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn meet in the sky. These conjunctions are like cosmic reset points, astrological tripwires. A new circuit is born. In mundane astrology, they're seen as major indicators of cultural, political, and societal change. But there's a deeper rhythm behind them. For every 200 years, these conjunctions cluster in the signs of the same element, those elements being earth, air, fire, or water. The 200-year cycle shapes civilizations on a collective level as humanity goes through experiences related to those elements. The zodiac signs are grouped into 4 elements, which we will call trigons. The fire trigon is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The earth trigon is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The air trigon is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The water trigon is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. When Jupiter and Saturn repeatedly meet in one element, we enter into a new elemental trigon, a time marked by that element's qualities, that element's nature, that element's possibilities. Earth brings structure and materialism. Fire brings revolution and change. Water brings spirituality and psychology and faith. Air is about ideas, communication, technology, networks of thoughts, and intelligence. From 1842 through 1980, most great conjunctions occurred in the earth signs, the earth trigon, as we have referred to it. This was a time of industry, infrastructure, and empire. We built dams, skyscrapers, highways. We tamed the land itself. We reached out. We harvested the elements of the land, the resources of the land. Earth energy shaped our values around productivity, material stability, and institutional power. In 1980, there was a mutation, moving from the Earth sign into the air sign of Libra. 1 year later, the first reusable spacecraft launched. We have come to know that as the space shuttle. That shift from Earth to air was literal. We went from conquering the ground to reaching for the stars as a species. Still, the full transition didn't arrive until 2020 when Jupiter and Saturn met at 0 degrees Aquarius and kicked off the Air Trigon. The Air Trigon itself will last another 200 years until around 2400. This era is going to be characterized by rapid technological innovation, global communication, digital identity, space travel, and the power of social networks. Information will become power during this time. Power in this age may not come through algorithms. It may not come through emperors. It may come through some combination of both. Be wary. Some astrologers suggest we're headed toward technocratic rule, a world where control is enforced not through brute force, but through information, data, and code. Others hold out hope for a more federated Star Trek-like model of democracy to arise during this time. Usually, air trigons demote democracy. Either way, though, the rules are changing and we must be wary of them. History will echo through these elemental cycles, and we can look to the past to know the future. From 1280 to 1405, the air trigon sparked the Renaissance with intellectual exchange between the East and the West. The water trigon brought oceanic exploration and deep spiritual shifts from 1425 to 1603. The fire trigon from 1603 to 1802 fueled revolution, capitalism, and global expansion. The Earth Trigon built the modern industrial world, the one where we conquered the Earth and its places and its space, where we harvested the resources of trees, of water, of oil from the Earth, of minerals in vast scales, and moved society forward. Now the Air Trigon, 2020 to 2400, promises a future shaped by thought, connection, and the digital evolution, and especially by artificial intelligence. As you may notice, artificial intelligence has creeped into being the headliner in the news, and it is culturally shaping mankind now as we talk. This is not something we can escape. And so the wheel turns. Many believe that this shift into air coincides with the larger transition into the age of Aquarius. That is, we are moving out of the age of Pisces, which is dominated by the experience of faith, into the age of Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn and dominated by technology. Astrologically, the sun will not rise in the constellation of Aquarius during the spring equinox until the 23rd century. But if you go by sidereal measurements, you will notice that that is a long ways off. However, culturally, if you look at what is happening around us now, you can see we have already entered the transition period. Spiritually, we are leaving what has been the age of Pisces. We are falling into rationalism, science, and binary objects in order to govern our thinking and our thought. Sure, there are fallbacks. Sure, there's fundamentalism trying to hold on to the political temporal power it has had. But we are already living the Aquarian themes: networks over hierarchies, science over dogma, innovation over tradition, and this is terrifying to some. Pisces ruled the last age, and its signatures of faith, sacrifice, religion, humanity, and the desire for good still linger. But the tide is turning. Science, logic, and the collective are beginning to guide the ship of humanity. We are starting to think in terms of the rational instead of the spiritual and the faith-oriented. The Great Conjunction 2020 is more than a planetary meetup. It is the threshold, the doorway upon which we must all pass. It is a handoff between these two great ages, the age of Pisces and Aquarius. The old world is not quite gone, and the new world is not fully born, but the shift is happening. I'm sure you can feel it. And my advice to you is that you don't resist it, because resisting it is futile. It is like resisting televisions. It is like resisting computers. It is like resisting iPhones. It is like resisting the printing press. On all of these, then a degeneration of the mind was noticed by the previous generations who did not have these technologies, but still history and technology marched on. And humanity adapted. Adapt now, for we have entered the age of Aquarius.